All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about the New York Giants. If you followed this page so far in the offseason, you know my thoughts. I think the Giants have killed it this offseason. Every Giants fan out there is fully aware of that statement. For some reason, it's not talked about too much in mainstream NFL media, but that's neither here nor there. It actually doesn't really matter in the slightest. But today, or later today, the NFL draft begins, and the Giants have pick number 28. I fully anticipate they are going to go cornerback or interior offensive line, like a center. I think they're going to go based on need and talent available, a combination of it both. And just in general, man, there's so much to be excited about this Giants team right now. There really is. They won a playoff game last season. They traded for Darren Waller. They got great wide receiver depth pieces on prove-it one-year contracts like Paris Campbell, the speedster, Jamison Crowder, who has plenty of experience in this league, but he's not too old. Bobby Okereke. This guy is a tackling menace. Raheem Nunez, Roches, Nacho. The Giants are looking good, man. They also re-signed extended Daniel Jones. They franchise tagged Saquon Barkley. That's a huge reason why I think they're going offensive line in the first round of the draft because, here's like a basketball analogy. People always say, now that it's playoff time, rebounding wins you championships. And I think the offensive line is kind of comparable actually to rebounding, but in football form, because you can win in the regular season with a mediocre or a banged up offensive line. You can find ways to win, especially if your quarterback is like a superstar stud, think Joe Burrow. But in the playoffs, you're not going to win anything, or at least you're not going to go very far. So I do think the Giants, they have two big needs: offensive line, cornerback. I think the wide receiver, there isn't a wide receiver in the first round where I'm like, yeah, take him at 28. If for some weird reason JSN fell to 28, maybe that's a guy I would take a flyer on. Jordan Addison, I don't think either of those cats will drop to 28. And once again, I don't think it's the Giants' biggest need, especially with those depth pieces. Before we get any further into today's video, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Giants fans, seriously, blessed my channel all offseason thus far. I'm so excited for your draft. I'm so excited for the draft in general. And, I wanted to start off a story because one of my first ever memories of the New York Giants was Brett Favre versus Eli Manning to get into the Super Bowl. That wasn't great. And then later on, early in my life, I think it was seventh grade, the Giants took down the Packers in the playoffs. And I remember, because I lived in Chicago, I remember my math teacher, when we get into class, it's that clip from Madagascar, New York Giants. Come on, man. But nonetheless, I have so much love for the Giants. Your fan base is seriously awesome. So thank you for all the love so far this offseason and in my brief videos I made last year. But let's take a quick look at this offseason, because I was reading an article where they were grading every team's offseason, and they actually gave the New York Giants an A-. And I feel, I don't know, it resonated with me, and I know it resonates with Giants fans because, once again, my first Giants video, I was making Giants videos this past season. They didn't pop off. And so, I do some research. This was like a month or so ago, or, whenever the start of free agency began. And I'm seeing some of the moves that this Giants team was making, and they were already kind of on an under the radar team, even though they took down Minnesota. I think that Minnesota win in the first round of the playoffs was overlooked because Minnesota, everyone views, Kirk Cousins and the Vikings as frauds, as fraudulent, because they had such a great regular season and they didn't do anything in the playoffs. But I think it discredited what the Giants did, not only in that game, but last season in general. We all know they started red hot. So many people were talking about them. So many people were not believing in them. Daniel Jones was like the headliner for the Giants news, along with Saquon Barkley. The bottom line is Brian Daboll, both offensive and defensive, and your head coach, the coaching staff that the Giants have is impeccable. In fact, they are really, truly getting the most out of their players. I think that's exactly how a head coach, specifically the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, all the more subset coaching positions, I think that's how you truly evaluate a coach. What can you get out of your players? Can you get the best out of your players? That's what we saw with David Jones last season, where he had a career year. Only threw 5 interceptions. All right. He was a dual threat quarterback. I think his rushing ability was often overlooked. Once again, the reoccurring theme outside of Giants fans. I don't think too many people realize just how good of a runner Daniel Jones is. But the thing is, he's not like Colin Kaepernick. Maybe that's not the best example, but like, he's not only a runner who also has an arm. Like, he is a smart, high IQ football player. And last year, it just really clicked. It really clicked. And once again, Saquon Barkley was a little bit banged up towards the end of the season. The offensive line wasn't perfect. So I think the fact that he ran as much as he did, he only had 5 interceptions, which is so important once you get into playoff football, like just limiting turnovers, winning the turnover battle. It starts with your quarterback. Obviously, your quarterback is your leader in general, but 5 picks, that's a really, really big deal. And he also had a 92.5 passer rating. So I know the 4-year, $160 million contract isn't beautiful. I know it's not the prettiest, especially what Jalen Hurts just get 55 a year. I think, there's that saying, comparison is the thief of joy. I really think Daniel Jones, if you compare him to like a Patrick Mahomes, who's a superstar talent, yeah, maybe $40 million is an overpay, and $40 million probably is a bit of an overpay as well. But going off of potential and going off of what we saw last season, literally a playoff victory in one of, if not the hardest division in the entire National Football League, I'm open. Obviously, you have to be open to seeing how the next 4 years goes and how next year goes with Dable and Jones. But I don't know, man. I'm just really excited about it. I'm excited about that offense. I'm really excited about Darren Waller. I also think guys like Paris Campbell are going to have sneaky effects on this team. I don't think he's going to be like a 1,000-yard receiver, but if the Giants can stay healthy and if they can have a good draft class, because they have great free agents, like Bobby Okereke is a stud. He is literally a stud. I view him as one of the most enticing, promising linebackers in the entire league. That's really it for today, though. Just a little bit of Giants hype before this draft. Let me know. Hopefully a lot of you watch this video before the draft, but let me know what you want. If it's after the draft, let me know your thoughts on their draft pick. I got a quiche going here in the background. I'm worried it made a little bit of noise, but it's smelling really good. I'm going to chow down, get ready for the draft, and I hope you guys are ready and excited as well. So hit that like button, hit that sub button, but most importantly, drop some comments down below. Love reading your guys' opinions and interacting with you.